And so, but for me, the thing that makes it the truth is that I can't even think about it without crying. And it's the emotion, it's almost like this release. Well, about 6 months ago, I was invited to join a group of people who have had experiences. And they were saying that, in fact, it was funny, one of the guys in the group is a rabbi. And he was saying, I believe that what happened is that it was a walk-in. It was somebody, that really wasn't a rabbi even. Well, I know that it happened, and I know my reaction to it, and the reason that this is so significant to me, aside from it being emotional, is that he said it was either a walk-in or someone from another galaxy or whatever. And when I came home, I spontaneously started channeling. And this is where it gets really interesting for me, because it changed my life. Now, I don't know where it's going to go or what it's supposed to do, but for years, because that happened in '83, so it wasn't until '87 that I actually let anybody see the letters. I thought the letters were just for me, very profound letters, and I was trying to understand them. Even though they're simple, they're deep. And I was trying to understand them, and also I didn't want anybody to think I was crazy, so I wasn't going to share it with anybody. And they would come through, and they would come in different handwriting. Yeah, in the beginning I did them by hand. And beautiful, beautiful letters. But anyway, what happened was in '87, a very good friend of mine, I decided to share the information with him. And I had told him a little bit about them, and one day I had him over and I let him read a couple of my favorite letters. And so he just looked at me and he goes, well, could you channel a letter for me? And my first reaction was, no, they're my guides, not yours. And he goes, no, really, try. So I sat down to the computer. At that point I had moved up to a computer. And what happens is I don't hear whole sentences. So if I channel something, I'm channeling one or two words at a time, and then I find out what it says later. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm doing the whole thing, and I hit spell check and I hit print, and I hand it to him, and his face gets sheet white, and he just goes, I've got to leave. And he's never a rude person, but he was actually rude. He just goes, I've got to leave, and he left. And I was going, well, I guess he didn't like the letter. And he called me later and he apologized, and he says, you know, I'm really sorry. He goes, I thought you were crazy. He goes, I like hanging out with you, but I thought you were crazy. And he said, what happened was I timed you. He was very analytical. He said, I timed you. And he said, in 5 minutes, you typed 2 pages of my entire life story with things in there that you couldn't have known. And so he decided that I should go public. And I'm like, I don't think so. So, and I was studying at that time also to be a hypnotherapist. And so the thing that's really, really interesting is that I had tried to be hypnotized just because I thought it was interesting years before. And I started laughing, and I couldn't quit laughing. And the guy got mad. And it's like, I can't help it, you know? And so anyway, as I was studying, the same thing happened. Nobody's ever been able to hypnotize me. And it's been suggested since then that there could have been some kind of contact where they do that so that I can't, because I can't be hypnotized. And so anyway, I started seeing people as a hypnotherapist and helping people, because I could see where they were going. When I work with somebody, I can see and feel where they are. And so, but unusual things started happening around those sessions too. But anyway, in the meantime, Aaron decided that I needed to go public, and he talked me into doing a radio show, which I didn't want to do, but then I thought, well, they got me in the studio and to see how it all works, and I decided to go ahead and do that. So the night before my first show, I had decided I was going to take all the letters and put them into a book and sell the book so that people would have access to this information. And I was too nervous to sleep that night, and I wanted to be tired for the show so I wouldn't be so nervous, because this is my first one. Yeah, and I've never done this before. And so what happened was I was working at the computer, and it seemed like it was maybe around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I heard this sound. I don't know if I heard a sound or if I was already on my balcony, but I lived in the hills in Glendale, and I had a cliffhanger condo, so I'm like way up, and I'm standing on my balcony, and from here to that wall, not that far away, is a ship, a humongous ship. Now, my condo, there were 4 condos in a row, and it was as long as all 4, so that's pretty big. It was moving very slow, very, very, very slow. And what happened was, I remember waving to them and being happy to see them. So anyway, and then I don't really, my memory stops right there. So I don't know really if there's anything more to it. Maybe I was tired and hallucinating. I don't know, So anyway, I'm trying to think. Oh, it was 3 days later. Okay. 3 days later, Aaron, my friend, I happened to mention it to him. And he's looking at me and he goes, "Don't you think that was unusual?" Because I just kind of mentioned, this big craft was going by my balcony the night, when I was preparing for the show. And he's going. And all of a sudden it hit me. I'm going, yeah, that was unusual, wasn't it? And it didn't dawn on me until I told him that I had seen something pretty bizarre. Now, it wasn't until this conference, actually yesterday, that I put the pieces together as to who might be the authors of these letters that I'm channeling. Because I've asked, and I've had people say to me, "You're channeling ETs," and I'm going, "No, they're spirit guides." I don't know. And they always start off with, "We are here in light and love to guide the way, for we are unto you as you are unto us, and we send greetings from on high." And once that salutation is out of the way, all of the information gets downloaded. And on high, I was always thinking, well, maybe, up there. But they did explain that it means matching of frequencies.